Hail everybody, who's coming up tonight on Now.
I can't even imagine if I was on the field and that happened to us, like what I would have done.
Goodall Park is their home field, but on Friday it was the scene of a deadly hit and run.
The responsible gun owners realize that, alcohol and guns don't mix.
This viral video of an accidental shooting in a nightclub has a lot of you asking questions about gun laws and drinking. We have the answers.
And is another potential buyer for Saddleback Mountain backing down?
This is News Center Now. Just days ago, Goodall Park in Sanford was the site of a tremendously scary incident, one that had adults and children running for their safety. Hello everyone, I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. Tomorrow night, these screams of terror will turn into cheering as the Sanford Mainers open up their summer season and the community starts to regroup. It certainly looks like baseball and it sounds like baseball. But Wednesday's home opener for the Sanford Mainers will be much more than a game.
I can't even imagine if I was on the field and that happened to us, like what I would have done,
Last week's scary scene at Goodall Park, which resulted in one death and countless amounts of frightened children and adults, hit home for a couple of Mainers. Ryan Twitchell from Greeley High School, who pitches for Sanford, and Chris Morris, who's entering his third year as the Mainers manager.
I just feel like the little kids, for that to happen to them, not knowing what to do, must have been scary for them.
It really does hit home when something like this happens, on a baseball field. You kind of look at yourself and you're like, how many games have I coached here, and how many games some kids have played here.
Four! Most of the time these players step on the field, the only things at stake are a win or a loss. For the near future, those stakes will be higher.
Coach talked about us, going to the elementary school and seeing the kids, making the kids happy.
I think what we can do to help the community, is just get back to, playing good baseball and give them something to cheer about.
And the Mainers announced that for their home opener, any child that shows up wearing a youth baseball uniform gets into the game for free. Tomorrow's game is scheduled to start at 6:30.
Whether you're playing a sport outside, baseball, whatever, you need the Under Armour, something, that layer, because it's chilly out there. There's a bite to the air, Keith.
Well, that's going to change. I can feel it. I can feel the change is coming. The change will do you good.
I mean, it's hard to get much worse in the last 2 days, right? I mean, today was marginally better. A couple of showers out there. We did have peaks of sunshine in western and southwestern Maine, but raining most of the day over down east and northern Maine. A couple of showers and a few rumbles of thunder popping up here in through North Conway, coming out of Wakefield, New Hampshire, in through western Maine. However, since it's relatively stable here at the surface and kind of marine influenced, I don't anticipate we'll see much in the way of thunderstorm activity here later tonight because it's just going to squash a lot of these. But a few downpours out towards Runford, certainly a possibility. Widen the picture out. This was the difference between yesterday and today. Neither of them were very nice, but we did see a few breaks in the overcast today. We didn't really see any of those yesterday. A lot of them were early though. We kind of clouded things back up later in the afternoon. Temperatures, beautiful. 52 in Portland, 50 in Caribou, 50 in Millinocket, and 47 in Greenville. So the slow road to recovery, guys, begins tomorrow, but we peak at the right time. The weekend is looking pretty good.
All right, that's what we're talking about. Thank you, sir. A potential new buyer for Saddleback Mountain is slowing his roll thanks to a decision by Governor LePage.
The governor recently designated 32 so-called opportunity zones in Maine, towns where investors will receive tax incentives. Christina Rex has been following developments in Rangeley's economy for years. Christina, how does this affect Saddleback Mountain?
So Lee and Lindsay, Rangeley didn't make the cut and it won't qualify for those tax incentives. For that reason, a potential buyer is hitting the brakes on a possible deal. Now let me explain the term opportunity zone. It's part of the Trump tax plan passed last year, and it's meant to encourage long-term investments in low-income communities. Businesses who invest in qualifying communities receive tax breaks. Maine has 128 eligible areas, from which Governor LePage had to pick just 32 for the program. Rangeley Rangeley was submitted for consideration, but it was not selected. Now, Rangeley has struggled since Saddleback Mountain closed 3 ski seasons ago. The town reported losing $15 to $20 million in revenue in just the first year. An Australian developer agreed to buy the mountain almost a year ago, but he hasn't closed the deal and has since been plagued by lawsuits and fraud accusations. A Boston company called Arcturus Impact Fund recently stepped in and considered investing up to $100 million in the mountain and surrounding community. However, its managing partner says the lack of tax incentive is causing him to hit the brakes.
I believe that our offer suggested that there were certain requirements that we were looking for from the state of Maine. I don't believe that we specifically said the opportunity zone designation was an absolute requirement, but we said that we were working on some things and that these would be integral to the deal.
So the Saddleback Mountain Foundation, a group of locals that tried to buy the mountain outright, they actually supported that Opportunity Zone designation. But the Berry family, the current owners of Saddleback, they've thrown their support behind that Magella Group of Australia. And obviously this is a developing story. We have a lot more information available on both our website and our mobile apps. Lee and Lindsay.
Hi, Christina. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, state police are converging on a backyard in Skowhegan, searching for a woman who's been missing for more than a year. State police brought an excavator and an evidence team as they scoured for clues, leading to the whereabouts of Tina Static. She was last seen at an area homeless shelter in May of 2017.
The little girl who was allegedly abducted by her father in Virginia yesterday was found safe. 7-month-old Emma Grace was taken from her mother at a convenience store. Police sent out an Amber Alert because they were afraid for the infant's safety. Police say her father, Carl Ray Kennedy, was arrested today in North Carolina. Emma Grace appears to be in good health, but she was sent to a hospital for evaluation.
Internationally famous fashion designer Kate Spade was found dead in New York today. Police report she died of an apparent suicide. Kate Spade was famous for the handbags that carried her name, but in recent years, she started up a new line named after her daughter. If you or anyone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, the national hotline number is at the bottom of your screen. Call anytime. It is free and it is confidential.
Some shocking news there. Well, it's an alarming video shared all over the internet right now. An FBI agent accidentally fires his gun in a crowded club. Is it legal to be armed while you're drinking? You asked, we verified. Also ahead.
A lot of people are upset. A lot of them are, and I think that's because it's breaking a tradition.
Bye-bye bikini. The Miss America pageant is ditching the swimwear, and not everybody is happy about that. That's coming up next. It's almost swimsuit season, but you might see the hashtag #ByeByeBikini floating around your news feeds today.
That's because the Miss America pageant is getting rid of the swimwear competition, breaking with a decades-old tradition. The move is getting mixed reactions.
I'm not going to parade around in a swimsuit like some airhead bimbo.
When it comes to pageants, Miss Congeniality could be the first thing that comes to mind for those who've never experienced one themselves. But times are changing for viewers and contestants alike. The Miss America organization using the hashtag #ByeByeBikini and eliminating the swimsuit part of the competition.
The pageant has evolved and the times have evolved.
Mary Beth Noonan was crowned Miss Maine in 2016 and competed at Miss America.
It was so hard, so scary, but I had to be fearless.
She knows what it's like to walk across that stage in heels and a bikini. But she knew in order to take the title, she had to exhibit that level of confidence.
I'm graduating debt-free from college because of this program. Miss America, when it started in 1921, it was a beauty pageant. And now it's a scholarship competition. I think swimsuits belong in a beauty pageant. But do swimsuits belong in girls competing for a scholarship? Maybe not.
Miss America will replace the swimsuit competition with an interactive session with the contestants and the judges.
I think someday we'll look back at all of this and my kids will say, I can't believe that you wore a bikini on national TV. You know, I think it's just all going to be something that we talk about happened in the past.
The competition started nearly 100 years ago as a way to extend the summer season and keep tourists coming to Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Miss America also announced it will alter the evening wear portion of the competition and won't judge contestants on their attire, but it will be more about what the women have to say.
So a lot of people are talking about Miss America today, and something else that's blowing up on social media.
And once that bullet leaves that gun, you can't pull that back.
This video, an FBI agent accidentally shooting someone in the leg. That is coming up next.
A few more showers in the forecast, but the weather is looking up. Keith will have the details.
No, this video is not a fake. It actually did happen. Several sources tell our partners in Denver that FBI agent Chase Bishop was dancing in a Colorado club when his gun fell out. When he went to pick it up, it fired, hitting a man in the leg. The FBI and local police are investigating, and the club's owner wants to know why an armed agent was in his business in the first place.
And several of you were wondering the same thing. Why was he allowed to have a loaded weapon in a club? Isn't it against the law to drink alcohol while armed? If he's a trained professional, how could something like this happen? And Chris Costa took your questions to the experts to find out if it's legal to carry a gun into a bar in Maine.
So, Lee and Lindsay, the short answer to the question is no. Even though Maine is a concealed carry state, it's illegal to have a firearm on you while you're drinking. But there's more to the laws, and firearm training experts say people could benefit from using their guns more.
At the magazine and the mag well, and once that bullet leaves that gun, you can't pull that back. You can rack it, you can't rewind it, you can't do a redo. It's over.
Veteran police officer Peter Joyce has 30 years of experience training people how to safely use guns, and says he sees people use them incorrectly all the time, even before they pull the trigger.
When they first take possession of that gun, their finger always goes on the trigger. That increases the chances of having an accident. Even if the slide is locked to the rear, they're pointing them at me or pointing them at other people. They don't have that awareness. You treat that gun, even if you know it's empty, as if it's loaded.
He says these bad habits only get worse when alcohol is involved.
The responsible gun owners realize that, alcohol and guns don't mix.
Gun owners over age 21 can carry concealed without a permit in Maine, unlike some other states. Despite those freedoms, Maine law states it's illegal to carry guns in bars or restaurants where people can drink if the property is posted. Even if a bar or restaurant does not post a sign like this, Maine law still makes it illegal for someone to carry a gun while they're drinking, even if they can legally own one.
When you're angry and you're trying to defend yourself, if it turns to that, it's really quick and easy to spontaneously grab that gun and point it at somebody and press that trigger. And that's what they want to avoid by creating these laws.
Now, there's only one situation where someone in the general public could carry a gun into a place where you can drink. That situation is if that person is not drinking, like a designated driver, and that establishment does not prohibit firearms. Now, if you want to hear more about the safe use of guns, you can go watch a video of Peter walking me through the safe loading and unloading of a handgun under this story on our website. Lee and Lindsay.
Chris, thank you very much, sir. On this show, we answer the questions that you send us. So over the last few days, several of you have asked about ranked choice voting ads. Daryl from Franklin sent us a message on Facebook saying, as a voter, I am interested in the funding source for all the ads on Facebook and television concerning ranked choice voting. It seems like deep pockets much more so than grassroots source. So let's take a look at the ads.
Ranked choice voting is an easy way to give Mainers more voice.
Now, this is just one of the ads showing up on the airwaves regularly. Some of these are easy to identify. They clearly tell you to vote yes on one to protect ranked choice. But one ad looks more like an explainer. It doesn't tell you to vote one way or another, but shows you a website to learn more about how ranked choice voting works. But you can tell who paid for the ad by looking at the bottom of the screen. It says sponsored by the Chamberlain Project Foundation, which is a nonprofit corporation, not a super PAC registered in Augusta, Maine, according to the Secretary of State's office.
We also discovered that the Chamberlain Project Foundation actually missed a filing deadline last week. Each organization is required to report where its money comes from and how it was spent. We reached out to find out why they missed the deadline. We have not heard back.
But these ads should not be confused with the nonpartisan explainers shared online by the Secretary of State's office.
Here are a few things to keep in mind when you're marking your ranked choice ballot. If you vote
this video is on YouTube and is just one of the resources available. If you want a nonpartisan, no political leaning, totally straight up explanation of ranked choice voting, anything from the Secretary of State's office, such as his Facebook or in-person listening sessions, the Facebook Lives rather, are probably your best bets. And if you ever have a question or want us to dig into something, you can reach out to us on Facebook or email asknow@newscentermaine.com.
We might not be loving this dreary, rainy weather, but some of our flowers are drinking it up. This picture comes to us from Cindy Joyce in Down East Maine. She says the lupines are thriving in this yucky weather, but wishes that she could feel the same. Thank you for sharing with us, Cindy.
I love those flowers.
Really
they are unique
flowers.
to Maine, I believe. And they're kind of like the color of my dress.
They're a little purple, like a royal blue.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Very nice.
And everything is just so green with this wet
It's
weather.
Lovely. We did need a little rain. We're getting it out of the way now. And as I said, the rest of the week, we improve gradually and kind of peak around the weekend, which is what you want. Oh, I know. Do you have a kid graduating or?
Yep.
How many tickets you get for that again?
37.
Oh, I thought you were going to have 6 or something.
Only if it rains.
Oh, right. Okay, so the outdoors, an unlimited
Outside,
Goldberg Fest
50 of us are
everywhere. All right, we got showers out there right now. The heaviest rain has been over down east where that picture was from. A couple of showers and thunderstorms have popped up across New Hampshire, but as I mentioned before, hard pressed to get a real thunderstorm into western and southern Maine right now because it's relatively marine and stable. The air mass is at the lower level, so that tends to squash the convection, the higher tops necessary for thunderstorms. You know, today was a little bit better than yesterday, and the biggest difference is we had a few peaks of sunshine over western, central, and southern Maine, and even into the mountains here, where we had none of that at all yesterday. But still not much in the way of sun. As you can see, the clouds stretch back into parts of western and upstate New York. All right, current temperatures aren't all that mild. We're in the 50s in Portland, 50 in Wiscasset, 52 in Sanford, and 53 in Portsmouth. Hour by hour forecast going to show you a couple of showers moving through overnight tonight. It's cloudy, so a little bit of fog along the coastline. By tomorrow morning, it's largely just clouds. We don't have much in the way of shower activity. We start to break the clouds late morning, and then we just go kind of glimpses of sun through the afternoon to partly cloudy by late afternoon with a few sprinkles around. So I think by after lunch tomorrow, you'll start feeling better about our pattern overall. We keep going in the right direction. Thursday, we see a little bit more sunshine, a couple of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon on Thursday, but temperatures in the upper 60s to around 70, and then we get warmer and even nicer for Friday and Saturday. So again, the timing of this is pretty good. After any showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon on Thursday, Friday looks nice, upper 70s in most spots, partly cloudy to mostly sunny. Saturday looks good, and we were watching rain on Saturday night into Sunday. It's still around, but it has moved ever so slightly farther south. So this could be good news for us where we dodged the rain on Saturday night and it's out of here well in time for Sunday and Sunday morning. So at this point, I'm optimistic about Sunday, giving us both weekend days, nice days. Again, 70s on Sunday and then another nice day on Monday. So we kind of flipped the switch a bit leading into the weekend and through much of next week. In fact, if you take us 7 days forward with rainfall, there isn't much to speak of. Most of it is falling right now and into tonight, and there isn't much more to be had all the way through next Tuesday. So you can see how the pattern kind of changes and we get a little bit drier there. So at this point, again, looking good on Sunday. We might see a little sprinkle overnight Saturday, but the timing should be better. Monday looks good, Tuesday looking decent as well. So things are looking up for you, Lee, and everybody else who has graduations and all kinds of other stuff going on.
Weekend coming up. So you know, sometimes you do the weather, and depending what you say, some people are happy with the forecast, some people are not happy, right?
Yeah.
Can't make everybody happy.
Right.
There is one topic that makes everybody happy.
Unless you're not in New England.
Everybody in the world loves the Patriots, okay?
I think that's true.
Period.
I think that's a fact.
And it was back to work for our heroes today. Day one of the mandatory mini camp Practices before now were optional, so that means Tom Brady was here, so was Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman. Coach Belichick in midseason form with a 3-word update. Everything back to normal for your soon-to-be Super Bowl champion Patriots.
Oh, early prediction, Lee. But today is not an average day for the team's owner. The Patriots posted a shout-out on its page wishing a happy birthday to Robert Kraft. Maybe we can get him another Super Bowl ring for his birthday this year, as Lee has already suggested.
That cost him a lot of money, though, when they win the Super Bowl. Just in the rings. I mean, ultimately, he makes plenty.
Right. I think he's not complaining
Plenty.
too much.
Throwing it out there.
News Center Maine at 5:30 is coming up. Let's check in with Cindy Williams to see what's in store. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. Police believe they have caught the murderer of a 19-year-old girl from Bar Harbor. We're going to look at how the two young people may have been connected and how the community is reacting to this girl's death. And a sailing team from Maine was in position to win the America's Cup, or the Atlantic Cup, when the first boat crossed the finish line in Portland. We'll tell you who was at the helm. It's all coming up at 5:30. Back to you.
And they were up against some rough weather. News Center Now continues when we come back.
All right, we got a test. They're so excited. So every 2 years, the National Science Foundation gives the president a report on how, in general, the United States is doing about general science knowledge.
All right.
So let's get to the quiz
I'm feeling
questions, and we'll see if you know them. Okay.
Is this true, false?
True,
or what do
false.
we got here?
Center of the Earth is very hot.
True.
True.
That is correct.
Oh, yes.
You got the answer right. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Electrons are smaller than atoms.
False.
True or false? That is true.
Oh, so close.
That is true.
Hey,
That's
I'm 1
okay.
for 2.
All right, so you got a
500.
chance to go
I'm
66%
in the
here
Hall of
coming
Fame
up
right now.
soon. Let's go to the next one. Oh, this is a good one.
I'll
All
say
radioactivity is man-made.
False.
False, false,
Good.
false.
False.
We already
yes.
went over this in Brain Drops.
It was from our microwave story that we
Yeah.
talked about
See?
radioactivity
I already
and
know that.
radiation people think
I
of
am
negatively.
so overachieving right now. Are
It
there
occurs in nature.
more? Are there more of
Bananas.
these?
You remember bananas?
2 out of 3.
I didn't know you guys
That's
would
all I
answer them
got?
that quickly. But this is where we stand.
This is how sciencey we are.
We're okay. We're doing okay, 60%. Now, you know what? Some of the questions, honestly, I think that we knew the answer, but had it conflicted with religious beliefs. So one of them, for example, was the universe started with an explosion, true or false? And the answer was true, but only 38% of Americans answered true. So I'm just guessing, I'm speculating here, that they knew that that's the scientific explanation, but it doesn't quite.
conflicts with
Yeah,
their
and the same, they had another evolution question as well. It said that man is derived from animals and apes, and that was true, and we answered false a lot. So I think it's not that we don't know, but it's just the two things intertwine.
Right.
So you guys did better
I can't
than
believe I
most
got
of the
2 right.
United States, right?
That's where it's about to
66%.
If I had a mic, I
There you
would
go.
drop it.
On that
That's
note,
it.
News Center
Let's
Maine
do
at
more
5:30
tomorrow.
starts now.